Good morning and welcome, Africa, to today's edition of the African Youth Conference 2020 on the theme the African Leadership Question, Problems and Prospects. It is such a great pleasure for me to be part of this conference. Today's session is the Wednesday, 30th December morning session. We have similar sessions that we hold all through today up to the afternoon and also in the night at 8 p.m. This conference has since become an icon in the history of Africa, especially of the rising generation. We invite all the young people of Africa to make time out and come and speak and learn and listen and share at this conference. We invite you to participate in the conference through your questions, comments, likes, and love for the session. This way, we will be able to boost the opportunity of many people viewing and seeing this conference. It is now my privilege and honor to invite our first speaker in today's conference, Mr. Osiaga Solomon from Nigeria. Mr. Solomon.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity and privilege to look at the structures, leadership pattern, and happenings in our nation and Africa at large. And also, compliment of the season to everyone. It is important we leadership in Africa. It is important we begin to consider the role of leadership in Africa, and that's what Mr. Francis have put together, bringing us into a house to discuss these important matters. Quickly, when we look at do we really have problem in Africa? Certainly, that is a question for the gods. And can we really identify what these problems are? Identifying them, sure we can. As a leader, what do we expect from every leader? A leader should be able to provide us basic amenities, education, security, health, very good economy, and every other addictive that will come alongside. But as to speak with our society today, it is not as it's supposed to be. And we find it difficult to narrow it to the events in and around us. What are the problems with African leadership? What are the problems with the citizens? And importantly, what are the problems with the youth? Before we begin to cast a stone or crucify those that have been in the affair of manning leadership in Africa, we'll first of all look at some salient points here. Uh, if we do a gentle mind mapping, we can see an unorganized warfare in Africa from Egypt to Kenya, Libya, Somalia, Congo, Mali, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, Cameroon, and so on. the same pattern, the same structure, the same trouble that is breathing our land is also peculiar in these lands. If you go to the South African region, we have similar problems. Is it that our leaders are weak? Is it that they can't give guidance as leaders? They can't take a role of a leader, the direction, the authority, the control, the management, ability to achieve goals? Is it that they can't achieve that or bring that to the table for Africans? Well, the answer might be yes to some of us and no to others. But let's first of all look at, I think my brother from, uh, I think that section was on the 16th of December. He was talking about structures put in place to run African down. Can a leader thrive with those structure? One, we have a pattern of international paid proxy fighters that manifest themselves as terrorists, armed bandits, kidnappers, cattle rustlers, robbers in our society. On the other hand, also, we have, and what is the target of these people? What are their plans? We have this patterned way where majority ethnic group or religion denominations we house a state, a nation in Africa, as the case may be. We also have this pattern way of exploitation of African resources. We also have a cooked way that undermines state powers, remove legitimate state powers, remove African leaders by non-state structures. We have them. We have organized and well-arranged, trained and equipped system of violent of state actors in our land. And we have what we call cultural subversion. The truth is that if these issues are not tackled, if these issues are not worked on, we begin to face or begin to have similar issues continually. Let me speak from my angle in Nigeria. We have peculiar issues in our system. I will speak from the time of my adulthood to this moment. The same structured leaders, the same pattern leaders, and the same kind of leaders that have ruled us over time. As they are the same people we are still recycling to this moment. How do you govern such a nation where our security system is, as far I'm concerned, is not existing? Today in Nigeria, statistically, they said, which is laughable anyway, that our population is 206 million. And we have 370,000 policemen. If assumably 10,000 or 100,000 policemen take care of the VIPs, the president, the vice president, the senate president, the senators, those in the executive, the well-to-do philanthropists, and so on. Assumably, we have 360,000 at hand. Divide them by the ratio. These VIPs are no more than 1 million. Divide them by the ratio of what we have on ground today. We realize that in Nigeria, we have a ratio of 686 or 687 to 1 police in our families? Can that ratio manage the people? When the security and the system of a country is porous, good leadership will certainly be difficult. In our homes, when the father lose focus and the mother is not there to release or to manage the situation, those children, it takes only grace to bring them together. Quickly, in those salient points I've outlined, we begin to see what we suffer today in Africa. Patterned in all this country I previously mentioned, we are suffering the same thing. The same thing that has happened to the previous nation is the same thing that is happening to us, even here. The nation of Africa don't have control. Our leaders are being controlled by other nations. Our natural resources are being managed by other nations. Our economic system are being run by other nations. Our culture has been infiltrated and it has caused mayhem and chaos in our land. How do we go from here? African leaders are undermined by certain systems. African leaders are suffering from the decadence or the rottenness of the past. We've refused to hold our head tall. Africa is the biggest and the largest continent in the world. African today manage, provide what the world system to a larger percentage, 36 or 30 to 36% of what the world at large uses, African produced it. African has control, has a limited control of what they have by these foreign projects. We don't manage what we have. It means when another man now run your home, he calls the shots. When another man now manage your house, you don't have a point or ability to make decisions. That is what we suffer today in Africa. African leaders are being sponsored by foreign actors. Certainly, the people have no say of what they do. On the other hand, there are parties created, they equip to contest for power in our country, in our lands. They give them resources, they give them weapons through proxies. They make sure that legitimate government are pulled down and their puppets now man a country. They do this on regular basis, over and over. Let's take Libya, for example. What happened in Libya? How is Libya today? If we, the youth of Africa, don't identify what these problems are and begin to tackle them, I'm afraid there may not be Africa in the next 100 years. The technology or the structure of saying Africa divided does not exist. If only Africa can come together as a nation, as a body, as a continent, we'll kick these intruders out. And once they are intruders, going ahead may be difficult for us. In addition, the control of African political structure is a matter. Multinationals, globalist interests, globalist agenda, personal interest. It means if our leaders are in such environment, they will sort their own interest. In this way, we see African country and citizens unhappy with their political class. They are disappointed day to day with their leaders. In many African nations, we saw the offspring in Tunisia, Algeria, Egypt, Malawi, Gabon, South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Cameroon. Till this moment, they are not happy. Why? Because we have jackals. The writer of the confession of an economic hitman, John Perkins, he said it. I will advise every African youth, before we begin to enumerate our educational system, our our patterns, our way of life. Those stories are not our stories. We know our stories. We know African. We are goodly people. Before the structure came in, before their way of invasion came in, just a chief with 300 people in his locality, you see peace, you see tranquility, you see respect within us in Africa. Cut across Africa, a chief, not educated, doesn't have the wherewithal, not experienced, but with what he inherited, he will manage his community for years. People were afraid to do evil. People were afraid to indulge in activities that are not favorable. Such societies was our story. The narration the world put out there for Africa is not our narration. I choose to disagree with them. Who is more corrupt? Who name you corrupt? Who name you black? I've never seen a black man in my life, and I've either not seen a white man in my life. We are not contesting the narration. Who is corrupt here? We? First of all, we must reject what they've written about us. We must reject their ideologies. They look for a way to ground our economics, our economy, our currency, hurt everything, high cost of living, everything from African is bad. Whatever that comes from Europe, from the other parts of the world, is the best. Who told you so? When these things were not in place, aren't we surviving? We must look inward. The problem of leadership in Africa, we must look inward. Yes, you might tell me the internet we are using today. However, go to the history of the internet. The speed you enjoy today, is a Nigerian man that did it. The brains, who built those monuments over there? It was Africans. The so-called slaves, in quotes, it was their brain work. They were the one that did those jobs. We ain't weak. We're not really bad the way we are being portrayed. We should first of all appreciate ourselves on that premise. How come today in Nigeria, a dollar is ratioed to 4.74, 80, 4.60? How? I give you gold. I give you phosphate. I give you cobalt. I give you lead. You tap my uranium. You get diamond from us. And yet, you call those undeveloped? The expertise we display, thank God, even COVID, the breakthrough we are recording today comes from where? I'm a proud African. I am. I know what the present situation looks like, but I am. We should be. We have been systematically destabilized. And in that function, we, the youth of Africa, Mr. Francis has done his part. He's in his 60s, but he's pouring us up. He's waking us up. He's calling us. He's removing the clothes from our eyes so that we can understand and see those things they didn't overcome. Those things they couldn't walk on. They are calling us to come in. John Adams said something, sometime President of the United States of America, 1735. He said something. John Adams said, there are two ways to conquer. Either by enslaving a country or by making them borrow. Give them loans. Make them to be more indebted. These are desperate moves. When you borrow more, you become a slave to the lender. Tell me today, Africa has begun to lose their assets. Africa has begun to lose their assets. Imagine, let me narrow it down to the state I came from. It will be difficult at the year 2025, 35 to pay off the loan previous government have taken. At a time, if we can't pay, our asset go in. How do we stop this? How do we control this problem? We own our asset and we are slaves to our own asset. God forbid it. Every time you borrow, Morris said so. Every time you borrow, you are robbing your future self. Every time you take from, you are robbing your future self. How does this affect the youth? We must stand up. Because when we come on a platform like this and tell ourselves how corrupt our leaders are, how corrupt our system is, and we don't look at the problems affecting us as a nation, affecting us as a people, it becomes a matter. On a final note, cultural subversion. Cultural subversion. How come they are not telling Indians, the Chinese, the Russians, the Saudi Arabians? Why is it that it's only African that pressure is on? Pressure is on African. How come we celebrate drugs, sex, in the name of music, in the name of celebrities? That's what we celebrate. How come we are not, the other nations are not getting this pressure? Our culture has been infiltrated. An African man is ashamed of his identity. You are ashamed to look like your people because you've been painted or given a name called corrupt or low life. Please, my fellow African youths, let's identify this criminalized way. Terrorists now seize community. They take taxes in states. Our government can't say anything. African leaders cannot open their mouth because these people have sophisticated weapons that a country does not have. Who supplied them this weapon? Who give them this window of bringing it in? Our government even go to negotiate with them because even our leaders, they are more corrupt. We are not taking that fact away. Our government negotiate with them. AU, African Union, let's pour African Union up. They must criminalize these actions, these banditries, this role for once. AU have never come to tell us that terrorism is a crime in Africa and this is the penalty. Armed banditry, cattle rustling, they have never come. AU should put that pressure, and we are the one to pressure them. Of course, we can't say we are kicking out the old cargoes, but we should make them know that we are enlightened. We are no more the African youths they used to know. We are no more swimming in our rags anymore. We are not more swimming with rags anymore. We can now clothe ourselves. These ideologies that has been sold to us, we have to repattern them to what we can use, to what we can make do of. On a final note, African youth, we must not be deterred at this moment. We should form a very strong alliance. Let's take away cultural, religious division that is sold to us. In those nations, they have different religions, different culture, different ethnic group, minority and majority, but it has never brought separation to them. How come we are now using that to destroy ourselves? How come we are now using this good platform, continent that God has given to us to now cause mayhem, destruction to ourselves because of certain machineries? I think on this note, also we the issue of poor leadership in Africa, and of course, we know it's there. We can't contest that. But in these narrowed areas we've highlighted, previous speaker has spoken about it, and we are talking about it. How do you expect our leaders? I think we have one now. Check the global condemnation he's getting. Though we have high-handedness in leader in African structure, nepotism as well. But even at that, the first nation of the world as we speak today, he surrounded himself with his family members, his children, his wife, gave them positions. But the way we play our own is the critical issue that is facing us in Africa. But if we want to change this narration, yes, we can. You can't get efficient leaders when we have culture subversion, when we have organized crime, where they pull that government structure as well, where ethnic and sociocultural group now take control of states and country. You can't have such leadership. Where godfatherism have now been order of the day, they are now learning from those that is inflicting us. The other day I heard something. The Adesina, the chairman of African Development Bank, had some rift with the United States. It is called African Development Bank. That forced me to go on research. Why should the president say they should remove our the head of our African bank? It now dawned on me that African Development Bank is a bank where other countries have shares. The largest shareholder is Nigeria, followed by the United States of America. Canada, Japan, and other nations have share in African Development Bank. If other nations come together and form a quorum, I think they can still knock us off, even from the African Development Bank. Can African Development Bank fund themselves? When that bank, and Nigeria, I think it was Gawan or Shehu said they won't, either of them, that they won't be part of that bank because if we are bringing other nations in, so we really have to identify what our problem is as youths. We also have to really recall back to our shares as Africans. Come together. A house divided cannot stand. When you tell me you are a Ghanaian, I'm a Nigerian, or I'm a South African, you taking my street, I burn my brother, I kill my brother, then African can never be liberated. Go to the European nations, though they have their issues, but they manage it privately and they give themselves a positive narration. We have to write our stories as youth of this continent. We have to rewrite our stories. You don't write our story. Who made you a moral judge over us? Your system of government is not working for us. What system of government can Africa profile? We, the youth, should begin to look towards those directions. And I think we will have a wonderful Africa in time to come.
Okay, thank you very much, Solomon. This has been a scintillating experience for me listening to you, giving me that assurance. And this is what has troubled my heart to know if the the future of Africa, the young people, have an understanding of what the problem is. You have displayed a clear sign. You have a hang on it. You, you have advanced some solutions, some ideas of what we can do. We deeply appreciate your contribution at this conference. Now, when we come back, we're going to take a minute break. When we come back, stay where you are in the studios. We will put out some questions that are come from those who are listening and some of the questions that I have myself to you so that you can respond to those for us before we let you go. Meanwhile, let's take a message from our sponsors at this time. And after that message, we will now deal with the questions that are available for you. Thank you
Hello,
for
everyone.
being
We would like to
and
introduce you to
doing so
Graceworth
marvelously well.
Nigeria Limited. Graceworth Nigeria Limited is a Nigerian-owned and operated company using seasoned and accomplished professionals to execute complex security missions in conjunction with the host government to mitigate risk on behalf of our clients. Our team members have decades of experience in the security sector, bringing a wealth of knowledge and experience that not all security companies are able to offer. The success of the company is based on our unrivaled ability to build and maintain successful partnerships with our customers to provide professional and reliable security services. We pride ourselves on providing highly trained personnel experienced in dealing with the most complex of security issues. Since our formation, we have gained a reputation as a highly experienced company with a young, energetic and forward-thinking management team, offering the highest level of professionalism. We offer the following services. 1. Security awareness and training. 2. Program support and consultancy. 3. Risk assessment and investigations. 4. Executive protection and travel management. You can contact us on +234 807 227 2799 or 0702 525 4858, or visit our office at 14 Buchanan Crescent, off Amanucano Crescent, West 2, Abuja, Nigeria. We would be glad to have you. Graceworth. Leave your worries with us.
Okay, Solomon, are you there? Okay, thank you. Now, I would like to say that this is the Africa Youth Conference 2020 Wednesday morning edition, this 30th day of December 2020. We are glad to have all the viewers who have showed up at this conference session today, and also those who have made comments and left questions and shown their likes and love. Viewers, we have had more people on this counter than the people number of comments and likes and love we have. We need your comments, we need your questions, because we are looking out for a robust discussion of the African problem, especially the African leadership question, the problems and prospects. We want a robust discussion, and this discussion are going to come from the rising generation, because that's the people who have the future. That's the people who will face the challenges that are coming. So we want you to participate through your questions, your comments, and likes and loves. Okay, Solomon, during the discussions, a few of your competitors left comments, and I'd like to pull those comments up for you to see, and they had questions too, so you can respond to them. This question is coming from Kwadio Ange Konam from Cote d'Ivoire. He's inside the studios, so that's why it's appearing as African Town Hall on the screen for you. And he said, "I'm grateful for all that Solomon has mentioned related to the poor leadership faced by Africa and facing Africa and Africans. But what can I do personally on daily basis in order to move to efficient leadership in every country?" So and I like the way he framed this question. He's talking, what can each one of us, coming from our individual levels, do? Because actually it's each person, that people that come together to make out a home or a house or a community, a country, and each person need to do a part. So his question is, what can each person do to change this narrative of bad governance in Africa, leadership in Africa, so that we can go towards the efficient type of leadership we expect in our countries? Do you have any thoughts there, Solomon?
Yeah, thank you, my brother. Um, as an individual, first and foremost, we must catch the fire. When you catch the fire, then the consciousness come and you begin to preach it. Tell other people that Africa is the largest continent in the world. Tell other people that Africans, we have to change our narration. Tell them as an individual, as it is now, our leadership in Africa is bad. But we must stand. You need to preach it. The revolution they had overseas, we are privileged to have the internet to connect us. They don't have such connection. Before they changed their their nations, they didn't have. Some were writing the revolution, read the revolution all over Europe, in US. They were writing to each other. We are not bad. We are good people. These leaders are not doing the exact thing we need. If we can do the networking in our respective communities, in our respective localities, in our states, before we even enter the national and Africa at large, if we have this connection and this mindset, devoid of corruption, of monetary values and personal gain, then before you, if you can win 10 people in your community, and those 10 go to get another 10, we are 20 already. And if those 20 proceed to get 20, we are 40 already. If 40 now get 10 per each number, we are 400 already. Then the change will begin to come gradually. But if we
I
fold
like.
our
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
But if we fold our hands and saying and keep it to ourselves that we will write, we need to idealize our people, indoctrinate them to a changed Africa. We need to preach it. We need to speak it and also live it. That African are the people that can change their narration. African are the only people that can change their society. And it begins from me and you. Thank you.
Okay, that is very, very powerfully put. And I like the idea that we do not need to have the whole world before we can begin to do something. We just need to say, okay, have an understanding. Let the light of the situation come be clear to us that we are in a dire situation. The continent is in deep shit, in trouble. This need to change. And then with that knowledge, you go out and network with other people. Bring one, bring two, bring three, 10, 100, 400, and then that knowledge expands, and it is that knowledge that will give us the Africa that we are talking about. Thank you very much for that great comment that you have there. And Kwadio Anchkonan, thank you very much for that question you provided, which has seriously enlivened our comments today and this conference. Okay, we have another one too from this is from Tulane Nkwonto from South Africa, and he's in the studios. That's why his comment and question is appearing on the title of the African Town Hall. Okay. Um, they are going to be our next speakers at some point in the after you in this conference. So, how can young people in leadership? This is a good one. How can young people in leadership distinguish themselves from poor leadership provided by their mentors? I think this is a serious one. I hope you have
Yeah.
a thought on this. Yes.
Yes.
Let me say that Solomon is well placed to have some thoughts on this. He's a journalist. He knows what is going on. He mixes with these people. I think, Solomon, you owe us a real answer. How young people can write a new story, even though those who mentored them into leadership are these bad rulers. So please take it up.
Young people like I and you can distinguish or separate ourselves from our mentors, one, by eliminating fear. Fear. We must eliminate fear. We must be bold like a lion, and also get the wisdom of the serpent, of the snake. I respect the snake very well. No arm, no leg, but we are all afraid of the snake.
Yes.
You see snake? When snake gets his prey, he swallowed it, digest it, you will never know something happens. But youth of our time, once we begin to get a step, we begin to revolt. There's a parable in my language that says, it is a child that the hand is strong that go to ask the elders what killed my father. I'm not saying you must learn how it works. You must understand the dynamics first. Once your foot is strong and you have strong
Mm. I don't know if okay. I don't know if Solomon's internet is having issues. Is stiffing up, and those are part of the problems we are worried about in Africa. That we cannot have a robust data which we can use to stay online like it is in other climes. But then this shouldn't stop us because, like Solomon said, the people of these other lands didn't have internet when they caused the revolutions that changed their societies into what it should be. So, and if I follow his strain in answering Tulane's question, it all started with, it starts with, now you have you are a young person. Maybe these old people have mentored you and you have the leadership in your hand. You need to realize that the future is, you are more closer to the future than them. They will soon ruin this place and leave. And if you are with them and you join them to ruin it, you will not have a place. So you need to go into this leadership and mentorship of these people with wisdom. First, have a background, have a philosophy to do the right thing in power with power. And then when they get you there, continue and learn the process, just like Solomon said, And when you have learned the process, the next thing you should do is to now remember the original idea that brought you there, which is to change the narrative. And then you work on it after you have accessed reasonable power. That is fine. So let's take a final comment that I pulled up from our archives. I'm pulling it up because it's related to one of the thoughts, things that Solomon has shared with us. Um, Ghanaian journalist. This is a highly celebrated Ghanaian journalist. His name is Kwesi Pratt Jr. A Ghanaian journalist put it this way. He said, our task is to create a core of leaders, visionary leaders, leaders who want to see Africa free, leaders who want to help Africans to develop confidence in themselves, in their culture, in the food they eat, in the way they dress, in the way they work, in the way they talk. Leaders who want to encourage Africans to take control of their own resources. We need to engineer those new leaders. That's our task. I pulled this quote from Kwesi Pratt Jr. from the Project 30 Before 30 International Manifesto, indicating that the avocation that I have in my life now is to midwife the rising of this new set of leaders who are proud to be Africans, who are proud to talk like Africans, dress like Africans, eat like Africans, and not accept the Western narrative that criminalizes or makes everything African to be bad. That is it. I expect in due course, Tulane Mhoto from South Africa will be our next speaker. When he comes to the studios, we would like him to find time to comment on this statement by Kwesi Pratt Jr. about the kind of leaders we need in Africa. The kind of leaders we need in Africa. Okay. Solomon is able to find his way back. We will just bring him up again to at least thank him for coming to the program today and providing us with reasonable information. Solomon, we can't find your face. We see you are behind the studio. Okay. I think it's coming up. It's still the issue of internet. Okay. Thank you very much. I think we appreciate every bit of your contribution in this conference, the responses you are giving to the questions, and we would like to thank you for coming to the conference and addressing it. We want you to know that on the 9th of January, there will be a special conference of all the speakers in this conference, whose the purpose of that meeting is to synthesize everything we have said and learned, and then bring out a communique. One, two, bring out way forward. So don't stay far away from the conference. Stay close by to make your comments, to like the conference, to love it, to ask questions, so that we can make a robust discussion. So Solomon, thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, I was cut off internet.
I know, we know that. So we appreciate you being here with us. Thank you very much and have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take a break. When we return from that break, Tulane Nkonto from South Africa will be our next speaker. During that break, we'll give you a chance to learn about one of the things we have set up to help the rising generations of Africa to grow to the people that will do what we are asking for in the current Africa. So stand by, Tulane, because you'll be. Okay, welcome back to the conference. We were expecting to have Tulane Nkoto from South Africa to be our next speaker. He's currently out of the studios. It might be network, it might be something else, but whatever it is, we have Kwadio Ange Conan from Cote d'Ivoire, and we would like to bring Kwadio Ange Conan to the studios in a moment if Tulane does not come this very moment. So, Kwadio Ange Conan, welcome to the conference.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We would like you to take the floor now and make your presentation and get ready to answer questions at the end of your speech. Is that okay? Okay, begin.
The line's breaking. Come again. Um, Come again, please. The line's breaking. I couldn't get the question. Hello. Hello.
You are on. You are on. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I said come again with the question. I couldn't get the question the question you asked.
Okay. I wanted you to make your speech if you prepared a speech. Because it is way after speaking, then we take the questions. But if you didn't prepare a speech, then we can take on Tulane Nkoto from South Africa. I think he has reappeared in the studios. Then you can prepare to speak to us, and then after your speech, we'll take questions. Is that okay?
Okay, I think it can come up. I'll just come later.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Okay. Tulane, welcome to the conference.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Okay, it's such a big pleasure to have you. Now it's your turn to address the conference. We'll give you the floor, and then you make your speech and then take questions. Thank you. You are on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such an opportunity to share my thoughts about the huge problem of Africa, the problem of leadership, and what we, the young ones, can do. Drawing my speech from the words or from the quote of our brother from Ghana, that those who are old have a huge task at hand to train we who are young how to be influential in leadership. But the big question is how is it gonna be possible to train us or to mold us in the process of leadership while themselves are not serving as the right people or are not the living testimony in leadership? Because as we are speaking now, there are lots of problems in Africa and the problem of leadership. Looking even our AU, before we can focus in our sovereignty or our countries, you can see that there are problems there. The leadership is failing to provide necessary leadership to solve the issues of Africa or to cater for the needs of us, we the Africans. So what is it that they must do? There is a lot that they must do in order to inspire and aspire us who are young, who are looking forward from learning from them. They got to change the way of doing things. They got to change the way of drawing inspiration from outside world. They got to focus in Africa and see, because there are a lot of inspiration in Africa. We have a lot of people who are the example. We have Thomas Isidore Sankara of Burkina Faso. We have Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. We have Julius Nyerere of Tanzania. We have Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia. We have lots of inspiration. Nyerere. We have a lot of people who have lived. Even we can include Mugabe, even though he has failed us in the process. But why is it that when they have to draw inspiration, they have to draw it from the outside world? What are they teaching us? Isn't that they are teaching us self-hate, that we must always hate ourselves and focus to the outside world in order for us to be prosperous in our leadership? So I've heard a lot of people telling us that the African Union is sleeping. If they are sleeping, we must raise them. We who are putting them in power, we have a lot of duty, we have a lot of responsibility, because we can blame them. But the truth is, we are the one who put them in position. If there's a problem with leadership, it does not really include themselves only, but we, the electorate, say, what are we doing? Who are we putting in position? Because we are the one who are electing them. So we got to know what we need. We got to define or redefine what we need. We got to understand, whenever we're reading their manifestos and whatever they are writing, we got to have the heart of a statesman. We got to have the heart of people who really want change. We got to have the heart whom we understand that we, the young ones, we are the future. And as we are understanding that we are the future, we must not end there. We must put into consideration that the future begins today. We must put in consideration that we must not only put them in the position of governance and leadership, we must be interested too. If we are talking about leadership, we are talking about the position where people are able to take decision and to inspire young ones. So we have a lot in our table to fix. We have a problem in our education system. It does not favor us, as long as it still teaches us how to remember, but not how to think. It is not good for us. As long as it is teaching us how to be good employees, not to be a good employer, it is a problem. We have a lot of problem in education. We have to find a system that is for us. We got to define what we really want. We got to write our own story. We got to write our own history. We have got to change the narratives of Africa. Because Lumumba of Democratic Republic of Congo telling us that Africa must start to write their own history. So that is where we must be. That is the position we who are in the position of leadership must know, that we must not depend to the world for solutions. We must know that Africa is capable of delivering. We must even recognize that before I am a South African, before you are a Mozambican, before you are a Ghanaian, before you are a Nigerian, you are an African. That must be the priority. Those other things, Sadak and whatever, those regions, they must come as a second thing. But first, we must know that we are all Africans. And we must focus on changing and decolonize our mind, and the mind of young Africans must be changed. And if we do not decolonize them in the educational sector, it cannot be right. In the educational system is where we must be changed. It's where we must be able to be trained how to be independent, how to think for ourselves. Because let me say this to our viewers, that if ever there is a important weapon that the enemy is using, it's our own mind. It is Steve Bantu Bigo who said that the most pointed weapon for our enemies is the mind, or for our oppressed is the mind of the oppressed. We who are oppressed, they are only using our mind, and they are using the education to continue to enslave us, even though we think that we are no longer colonized. They continue to colonize us. They continue to implement their neo-colonization in us. And our leaders are fine with it. They are fine. They don't mind. They think it's right. They think it's fine as long as it pleases their superior or their masters. They are fine with it. So we who we know that future belongs to us, and we who we know that tomorrow we will be asked and will be questioned by the next generation. What have you done? We understand they failed, but what did you bring in the table? So we must be able to demand from our leaders, because we have put them in position. In all this administration that they are serving in, we have put them there. So we must be able to put demands and tell them what exactly do we want. Tell them what exactly do we want to see Africa in. Africa is a prosperous continent. Africa is a continent that is so beautiful, that God has blessed with everything. But our leaders make her to appear like she's poor. She's not poor. She's not poor because she has everything. Minerals, all those things, forest, we have it. Because we have timber that is being always, deforestation is being taking place, and they are taking our timber away, they are taking our gold away, they are taking our minerals, all of them. I can't name them, but they are taking them away. We are not benefiting anything. In agriculture, our leaders are failing us. That's how the failure of leadership is. If we don't recognize that there is a problem in leadership, I do not know how are we going to survive. We will not survive, because in agriculture, what we are doing, we are feeding the outside world. We're not feeding ourselves. We are failing to feed ourselves. How can it be possible that we who are having fertile land here in Africa, but we fail to feed ourselves? We are still talking and we are still attending some conferences where we speak about food insecurity. We do not want to do that, because food is full in Africa. We have everything, but the problem is that we cannot add value. Our leaders are failing to provide in that sphere. Our leaders do not want to provide leadership in that sphere. We must be able to manufacture our own. We must be able to add value in our agricultural products. If Ghana will produce a cocoa, we let it be us who add value. Let it be us who translate it to be chocolate. Let it be us. Let it be us who make jewelry. Let it be us. Let it be us who do all those things, because we are capable. If we are producing agricultural product, let it be us who change them. Let it be us who make juices. Let it be us. Let it be us who use our own agricultural product. Eggs. Let us buy eggs from that are from Africa. If there are some cows in here in my neighboring country, Botswana, let it be us who consume that meat. Let it be us. Let our leaders know what we want. Let us put our demand to be known. In healthy, we don't have to complain about healthy. You know, if agriculture provides good food for us, we will not have problem in healthy. We will not have problem about this food insecurity. We will not have problem with these things. But our leaders do not have hope in these things. So bad governance is the definition of Africa. So we must change the narrative. We must change it and make it to be what we are dreaming of. We must be the change. That's what we must do. We must be the change that we want. It is Mahatma Gandhi who is telling us that we must be those change that we want. So if there is a problem about leadership, we must be the leaders that we want to see. We, the young ones, we must understand that if our parents and our ancestors have failed in leadership, we must change that. We must not continue to lament. Lament we must, but not always. We must have a way on how are we going to fix this issue? How are we going to tackle this issue? How are we going to provide necessary leadership in this issue at hand? Because we have some possible ways. We have everything that is demanded. My brother talked about internet. What is it that we want to do? Because if we have failed to tap in the first industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, third industrial revolution, we are now in the fourth industrial revolution. What are we going to do here now? Because do we want it to pass us away? Do we want to watch China and America doing their things and we will be watching, will not be doing anything? No, we don't want that. But what we want is to see this thing, is to see Africa in technology increasing, Africa in innovation increasing. So we will be able to write our stories. So we'll be able to tell the world now that we are capable in these things. Because if we see failure, it's because the problem was leadership. If we see those things don't happening in our time, it's because our current leaders do not do what that we demand of them. They do not do it. Only God knows why do they don't. But we who are young, a strong message to us. Let us not be quiet. Let us not be quiet, because we see now we have defined what we want. Let's put it into the table. Let us tell them. Let us be interested in this. Young people do not want to be included in politics, do not want to be included in positions of leadership and governance. Let us start to work on it. Let us start to put power, let us start to put pressure so that what we want can be a reality. In interneting of things, let us not struggle. Let us not struggle on these things, because if we struggle here, if we don't tap in here, the world will continue to play with us. If we do not do anything in robotics, the world will not take us serious. If we do not do anything about in all those things, interneting of things, in artificial intelligence, the world will not take us serious. But we got to change our education system. We got to change our narratives. We got not to allow the world to define us. We got to define ourselves. And what else we want to do is to protect those who are the agent of truth. Those who are agent of truth must be protected. Platforms such as this must be announced. Let the world know about it. We're supposed to have many viewers now, plus 1,000. But because we are quiet, but if silly thing happened, we are so quick to make it known to the world. If Africa, I remember not for so long, our leaders in Somalia fight, and then that video was known to the world. Our media must be controlled. Why is it that which is bad is easily become viral, but that which is good and right is not being attended to? What are we doing in that sphere? What are we doing in our media? Such platform as this, the world do not know them. If I can ask someone, do you know a platform such as this? They will say, we don't know. What is that? They do not know, because we are quiet about it. We don't even post it. Young ones, if young ones of my age, let's start to take the issue of Africa very serious. Because if we want to see the world that we want, if you want Agenda 2063 to be reality, we are the one who must be the agent. I'm so happy because now the African Continental Free Trade Area seems to be possible. On the 1st of January, it will start to work. That's the thing that we must start to make noise about. We must tell the world what we are doing. That Africa will be able now to trade with herself without any hindrance. The borders now will not stop those people. Tariffs will not be a problem now. People will be able to transport their goods. But the question is, do we really want that only? No. We want even freedom of movement. We want to go to Rwanda without any visa. I know that at Rwanda there is a visa that they give you on arrival, but we don't want that. We want to travel around Africa without any hindrance, and the borders must be removed. If they are not removed, we must find a way that they serve there for administration only, not to hinder Africans to move around their own continent. But our leaders are failing to do that. We must not keep quiet. We must pressurize them. We must tell them what we want. Because if they do not do it, we will be finished. And our young ones will be asking us, what have you done? I hear you say there's a problem. What have you done to change the narrative? So I would like to appreciate this opportunity where I've shared my views that Africa must change and must write their stories, that Africa must redefine themselves, that education system must not be defined by the Western world, that our health, we must be the forefront in our health. We must not depend on the who are telling us every day what to do. We must know what we want. But if we do not define things that we want, our visionless leaders will define it, and they will give what we do not want. and will continue to lament. But we must not continue to lament. We must redefine our continent. Mother Africa has seen a lot. She has seen a lot. She has seen slavery. She has seen colonization. She has seen a lot. She has seen a lot. She has seen even neo-colonization. Now we can see that imperialism still lives. Mother Africa wants us to save her, and it's only on leadership that she must be saved. If we think that our minerals are in the right command, they will be only on the right command when we have a united Africa, when we have a mind that is one, where we are united. I'm not speaking about the world that where we'll be working as different, but I'm talking about the world where we, the Africans, we will have no problem with each other, but we will hold each other. We here in South Africa will be able to hold the Kingdom of Eswatini, we'll be able to hold the Mozambique, we'll be able to hold the Zimbabwean, we'll be able to hold the Namibian, we'll be able to hold the Zambia, we'll be able to hold all of those people who are around us. And when we unite now as those regions, we'll be able to work together, and we start to tell even the AU what we are demanding. And then that is where we'll be able to call order in those ones who are not doing well. That is where we'll go to Uganda and tell them what is it that is good. That is where we're telling Museveni that Museveni has stayed for too long. That is the leadership that you talk about before. You talk about people staying in leadership for a certain period, after that they go, because he's the one who's telling us that. We tell him we'll be able to go to Cameroon and tell the president there, Paul Biya, that what you are doing is not what we are expecting. But if you are not courageous enough to tell each other what is it that is right, leadership demands courageous. Leadership demands, because it has nothing to do with coward. We must be able to call each other in order. If you can't call each other in order, it's because we are afraid, because somehow maybe we'll be working in corruption together. And we are afraid that if I can call him in order, he will expose me. Lastly, you must tell the truth always. If you want to be successful in this problem, in solving this problem, tell the truth always. Speak the truth, even if it is not fashionable to do so. It is truth that will make us to stand together. Do not lie. There is no reason to lie. You know, there are people who lie sometimes where it is not necessary. But we, if you want to be a successful leader now who will change the narrative of Africa, is to tell the truth always. Be in the side of truth. Be in the side of truth. I would like to even to quote, if you can check it in the Bible, it tells us that you should know the truth and the truth will set you free. If Africa must be free, she must start to speak the truth always. That is where you will see we'll never talk about the problem of corruption if there's truth. If we, the young ones, will be the leaders of the truth, we will always be in the side of the truth, we'll support the truth, we'll stand by the truth, we will see Agenda 2063 being realized. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Tulane. This is very exciting and also very fiery and powerful. I like the way you present. And you have said those words that the intention is to ignite the African, especially the young Africans, to rise to this occasion. I'm so very happy that you're able to participate in this conference at this podium to speak about issues. Okay, so you said something that really touched me, and I want to bring it up to the podium and to present it for you for additional thoughts. And the viewers would like you to also comment on this particular item. These are some of the highlights of what Tulane had just shared with us. African leaders should stop copying from outside Africa. We have lots of African leaders that have exemplified great leadership. And you mentioned Thomas Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba. There are quite a number of them. Even Nelson Mandela. There are many things that many African countries are doing. If they would do like Nelson Mandela, it would just be a lot easier for all of us. And today, Paul Kagame is transforming Rwanda, there are at least, but
Mm.
there are few. So we still have examples to copy. We can't continue to go to Europe to copy. How do you think young people can handle this? Because I'm trying to think about Africa without those who are ruling us right now. Even if they want to stay forever, there's a biology that says that somebody must die at some point. Some of them we have, we have those of them like in Nigeria and Cameroon where 80-year-olds and 90-year-olds are still ruling. How long would they really stay in this world? Certainly, the theory of the species will take care of them. Of natural selection will take care of them. But
Yeah.
we need to be prepared before that time. So, what should the young people be doing today to help them not to be copycats, not to be copying examples of outsiders, but to copy the examples of our own African leaders who have exemplified correct kind of leadership? What can they be doing? Any thoughts to add?
Thank you so much for commenting in that view. I believe that we, the young ones, we must be able to trace our own heroes and our own leaders who were so visionary, who have been, and we must read their works. If we see us being stranded and become clueless about Africa, it's because we are not reading their works. What I want to encourage us to do is to read the works of those people. Let us read the works of those people. Let us know what is it that they were questioning. Let us know what Nyerere was exactly wanted. Let us know exactly what Emperor Haile Selassie of Egypt really wanted. How did he conquer the European? Let us know. Let us know those things. Because if you can ask the young one, they cannot tell you that, they do not know that Africans can conquer the Europeans. They don't know that, but we did conquer them. Let us go and read those works. Let's search them. Let us not trust Google for our history. So what I can say is that in order for us not to be copycat, let us familiarize ourselves with our own history and with our own leaders, and let's search more to know so that we'll be able to have their dreams in order to continue. Because there are those leaders that we love them through history. But the question is, what are we doing after that? We have drawn inspiration from Nelson Mandela, we've drawn inspiration from Stephen Bantu Biko, from all those things. But what is it that we are doing after that? Are we going to die with that? No. So what we must do is to learn their work, their books. There are people who have written about them and who have made those information available. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Raymond Bobson Stephen, who is from Sierra Leone, he's in the studios. That's why his comment is appearing on as African Town Hall. He said, knowledge is the thing that will save Africa. And he added in the studios there that books, and you said we need to read the account of these people. Kwame Nkrumah wrote books himself, and there are books on him. Emperor Haile Selassie wrote books, and there are books on him. Nelson Mandela wrote books, and there are books on him. Thomas Sankara, there are books on him. And part of you said this, and it hits in one of the projects of Town Hall Communication Company. We set up an ebook club made to be almost free to access. So free that the cost for 1 year is the cost of one bottle of granite. Peanut. Some people call it peanut. Just the cost of a bottle of peanut for 1 year, you have access to at least 100 and something books in a year. How many can you read in a year? So,
wow.
And these books cut across all genres, every kind of opportunity to read. So, I think you made a great point there. To change our narrative, to stop copying what Europe are writing about us, we need to start reading about our own people. During this conference, I had a revelation that is so interesting to me. And anyone that wants it, I can share that copy with you. I did not know that there was a book that contained the speeches of African leaders on the first day of the inauguration of the OAU, that is the Organization of African Unity in the 1960s. There's a book like that. One of our speakers at this conference referred to it, and I said, really? I didn't know there's anything like that, that I need it. And he sent it to me graciously. And I want to advertise that book to all African youth. If you see what most of those leaders prepared, and I think that's why the Western world and some bad Africans helped to kill some of those people, because they were visionary. They were taking us to where we ought to be going. So the rising generation must read books. I thank you very much for pushing hard at that point, because I think that is where our problem lies. You know, they said, if you want to hide something from an African, put it inside a book, because Africans don't read. That is a narrative by Europeans. We need to change it. So I agree with you that we need to change those ones. Okay, I want to call you back on some other things that you shared. And before I now ask you to comment on Kwesi Prajinius' comment. You said that though you have hinted on some of this, but you said, we who are young, let's not be quiet. That's what you said, and I like that a lot. If we continue to keep quiet, actually, that's why this conference came up. Actually, that's why I set up a company called the Town Hall Communication Company. Because the objective, if you go to our website, is to give voice to the rising generations of Africa. They are not speaking, and we want them to speak. I want them to speak. So, can you share more, throw more light on some of the ways the young people can let their voice be heard and stop being quiet? I know you share some thoughts, but let's get more.
Thank you so much for this opportunity again. We, the young ones, we have power to speak, but the problem is, what are we speaking? As I've alluded earlier, that if a silly thing can happen, you will see it will trend, and then it will be known by the globe, without even the continent, by the globe. So we have, that means we have a way of spreading the information, spreading what we want. We have Twitter, you know. On Twitter, we are able to make something to be known by the whole world within even 5 minutes. So we must use this for our own benefit. So if the young ones must not be quiet, they must use the social media platform before they can even go further. Let us form, anyways, even small organizations at schools. Those of us who are at universities, let's form organizations that talks of Pan-Africanism. Let's form things that can, because we know that if we are not together, we will not make it. But if we are united, our voice can easily be heard. Let's form such things. Let's form such. Let's make outreach. Let's go out. Let's tell people about what we really want. Let's tell people what exactly things should be. Because we were talking about the OAU. That letter was called AAU. You will not really believe it, that some people do not know it, and some of my friends didn't know it, and then I've told them that there's this and this and this. What I said, wow, there's such. So we must not be quiet. We must voice out each and every tool. If Instagram is there, let's use it. If Twitter is there, let's use it. If Facebook is there, let's use it. If WhatsApp is there, status is, let's use it. Let's use everything. If LinkedIn is there, let's use it. Let's use this to make our voice to be heard. Let's write them email. I write emails. I write email to ministers. I write them. As individual, as Tulanam Count, I write emails and send it to them, telling them if there's a problem. I write councillors' emails. I write mayors' emails. I don't keep quiet. So this is what I'm doing. We can all do it without being any person, without being any chairperson or elected. As individual, you can do these things. I write them. After that, I screenshot them and share them. Those are the things that you must be doing. So our voice must be heard. They must know that people are not quiet. If wrong things are being done, there are things that they will say, and we must expect them to speak. So the reason I said we must form an organization, they will know that he has speak as an individual. After that, he will influence the organization. That's where they will be a threat to us. So let us not keep quiet. Let's use any format to voice out, to speak to them. Do not be afraid to just send an email to the office of the president. Do not be. Do not be. You have voted for them. Tell them what you want. If they are moving out from the way, remind them. Remind them what is in their manifesto. Remind them. That's how we can win it. As we will be doing that, let us be preparing ourselves. How are we going to be influential then? If the opportunity is given to you, what will you do? How are you willing to change it? But because before you think how can you change it, you must be able to tell him how to change it. I hope this answers your question. Thank you.
Yes, it does. It does. Thank you very much. And it's so well, powerfully put. And Raymond Bobson Stephen in the studio again left another comment that supports what you have just said. And I was going to say, in case you didn't mention fear, people shouldn't be afraid. You said that, and I'm happy. And he said, you speak or you don't speak, you will still die. Why not speak and die for that which you believe in? You know,
Exactly.
this is the point. In Nigeria, for example, we are so afraid to speak. Oh, they will kill us. But before NSAS, what was happening? The police were killing young people. The police army, they will kill young people for no just cause. Okay, police owners, because you are driving a nice car, they say you are Yahoo Yahoo. They take you in, tell you how much bribe you pay. If you don't pay, you are dead. And people were dying. That's what led to the NSAS protest. Now, the people like me feel that it was wrong that the NSAS protest stopped. It shouldn't have stopped. My own feeling is that it should have continued to today. Now, you know, as usual, they came in and shot at people with live bullets, killed over 70 young people. But if you take a census of those who have died before the NSAS, it's in thousands. So what is 70? And if we keep quiet, more than that will die again. So I like what Raymond said here. If we speak, we die. We don't speak, we die. In fact, it's even worse when we don't speak. And in my tribe, I'm an Igbo man, in my culture would say, it is when you begin to fight that you find strength. And also, if you will not, because people die when there's war, then if they bring a war to your house, you won't fight to defend your family. So it is wrong thing for a man not to fight to defend themselves. And I seriously appreciate the strong voice you have put forward here. I want to know, lastly, before I ask you for your final thoughts, if you have a comment on this statement by Kwesi Pradinio. And let me tell you, this is what Project 30 Before 30 International, which we set up, want to do. And he said, our task is to create a new core of leaders, visionary leaders, leaders who want to see Africa free, leaders who want to help Africans to develop confidence in themselves, in their culture, in the food they eat, in the way they dress, in the way they work, in the way they talk, leaders who want to encourage Africans to take control of their own resources. We need to engineer those new leaders. That's our task. This is the task that Project 30 Before 30 International has taken, and the Town Hall Communication Company. And the African Town Hall is set up to bring the rising generation to one town hall meeting for this purpose. Do you have a thought on it?
My view on the words of my brother Kwesi from Ghana is that he is accurate and correct. I support his ideology and his view. We, the Africans, we have a duty to teach each other our ways. It's so painful that one day I met with my auntie, and she was having with her 3 kids. She said, my kids cannot speak our language because I am a Swati with Swati. They do not know it. They really don't even know any term, even Sawubona, they don't know it. So we are losing ourselves in the process. We must not lose ourselves in the process. We must know our culture, our ways of doing things. We must embrace it the way we were. It must represent us, our Africanness. So he is right. We must use it. We must spread it by speaking. We must spread it by doing it. We must spread it by living our Africanness. Let us do it. It's our pride. They were afraid even of our culture, our traditions. They are afraid of it. Let's embrace it. Let's remember it. Let's read it. Because if we do not do, we will be forgettable in the world. They will forget us in the world like Dodo. Thank you.
That is true. Thank you. It has been very exciting for me and stimulating to, be in this conference with you. Your thoughts are powerful. It gives me hope that by the time I finish my tenure on this earth and leave, I know that there are people who are conscious who will get us to where we need to be. Whether I'm alive or dead, I'm an African, and my spirit is African, and that will continue to be that way. That is how God made it, and it's so
And
important.
you will not die. You will not die.
Yes, I would live according to the will of God. Thank you very much. So, Tulane, will you help us with your final words in a minute for this conference? And then do remember to stay close to the conference, especially to the meeting on the 9th, so we can finalize everything. So, final words in a minute.
My final words is I would like to thank you, Mr. Francis, for such an opportunity you are doing for Africa. Mother Africa will really remember you for what you are doing for her. And
Amen.
I would like to encourage everyone who are present here to now, because there are many speeches that were shared and many lessons. Those of us who were not having the opportunity to join us, they can still come to the page and they can have the information that we were sharing here. And I would like to tell the young ones that it's either now or no other time. And the other ways that I got to tell them is that they must stay here with us in Africa and they must not go anywhere. Africa is the place where we must be, and we must embrace everything that is us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tulane. It has been such a pleasure to be with you at this conference. Have a great week. Continue to support the conference by loving, sharing, caring, and leaving questions that we can use to have a robust conversation and then have a way forward. Thank you and have a great week.
Thank you so much. Asante Sina.
Oh, that is good. I like that. Thank you. Okay, Africa, thank you. That is your son. He has been around here, done what he needs to do. I have spoken, and I hope you have heard him and you are ready. Okay, and Tulane, Mr. Raymond Bobson Stephen, who will be our next speaker, is so excited with your speech, and he says, "Thanks, bro. The fire of Pan-Africanism is high in your place." Thank you. So have a great time. Okay, viewers, thank you very much. We have seen many of you still viewing. We have more. We need more love, likes, and hours. But above all, we need more questions that the speakers will answer from their speech. Even if they have gone, I'll send their questions for you to answer, for them to answer, your question for them to answer, so that we can use them to improve this conversation. So we need your comments, we need your questions, we need your likes, we need your love for this session of the conference. Okay, we would like to bring our next speaker up. Our next speaker is Raymond Bobson Stephen, who lives in Sierra Leone. Raymond, welcome to the conference.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And it feels so good to be here.
Thank you. So it will be my privilege to invite you to address the conference. After your address, we will now field questions, either from the audience or myself, or have you recap any of the things you have told us that we need to learn more. The stage is yours now.
Well, first of all, I want to say compliment of the season to all Africans wherever you are, and I want to say, compliment of the season and Happy New Year in advance to all of us. Well, this morning, because it's morning here right now, so I don't know your place. What is the time there right now? Now, I'm always excited when I have the chance to talk about Africa and to be able to add my voice, just like what I said when the guy from East Africa was speaking. One thing I've come to realize that whether you speak or you don't speak, you still die. So why don't you speak already and die? So he said a number of things that I really love, and one of the things that, as young people, one of the things that will save us is knowledge. Is the only thing that will save Africa. Knowledge is the only thing that will save Africa. And that knowledge must come from reading books. We must begin to read books. I love books, and I know the energy. Like the man I am today, is as a result of the level of the level of interest that I have in reading books. Just like what you know you were saying, Francis. Like we like all these great Pan-Africanists we had, like Thomas Sankara, Steve Biko, Nelson Mandela, and the rest. That all of these people, these were great men. They had ideas. Now they knew that there will come a time that they will go. So what they did, that all the knowledge they had, they left it behind for us, so that we make use of it. The America we see today, America is that everything they are every whatever system they are with today, this was a system that was reserved for them. This was a system, whatever knowledge America has today, it's not something new. These were things that their founding fathers, they left for them. It was a legacy they left for them. This is the trend, that if we want to achieve the America that we want, we must follow this trend. So if we are talking about Africa, we want to really get the Africa that we want, and that is the Agenda 2063. We must begin to go back, and there are some good memories that must be selected. There are some good memories that must be selected. We need to go back. We need to begin to read these people. What did they do? What made these people wonderful? Especially the leaders we have today. They need to read about the leadership qualities of these people. All these great Africans, who made mark in terms of leadership in the world. For example, we look at what Paul Kagame is doing in Rwanda. I watch a video on YouTube where there's a program he does, like he calls the Youth Meet the President. I was so marveled. I mean, like the president, he will gather youth, the young people. He kind of like a motivator. He motivates them. That even if you look at God himself, now God himself from the very beginning, God is a motivational speaker, because like God motivated us, that he wants us to be like him, meaning he had a plan. And then for us to follow that plan, he explained the plan to us. So meaning he was like, God was motivating us. And so that is why each and every one of us, we are trying to make sure that, especially for those of us who are Christians, we want to be like Christ. We want to be like God. So to me, I see that if you want to, in terms of you want to succeed in terms of your leadership, one of the first things that you need, you must be a motivator. You must be a motivator to your people. Let your people want to be like you. There are certain examples that you must set for your people. Not like what is happening now in Uganda, where you see that president, he has stayed too long. It's just like this great Pan-Africanists will always say that there's this word he called the prima donna syndrome. They talk about the refusal of a good dancer to leave the stage on time. It doesn't mean that because people are applauding you that you must stay there. No, there are people that you must give. They are young people with good innovations, good ideas that they can add more value to whatever structures you put in place. So we young people, the only way that we can be able to tell these people that we are ready, we must begin to read. That's the only thing. We must begin to read. To me, that's the only thing. If we like we do whatever we shout, we protest, we do all of these things. We must first of all get the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is key. When we have the knowledge enough, that knowledge is enough. That's the knowledge. Even the heaven that all of us want to go. One of the things that will save us about heaven is knowledge. That is why God left Quran in the Bible. All these holy books were left for us, so that when we have enough knowledge from these books, they will guide us to that heaven that we want to go. So the only thing that will save us now, we must begin to read. Knowledge is the only thing that will save us. Knowledge is the only thing. Even if we mine all the diamonds and everything, if we don't have enough knowledge on how to handle those things, trust me, it will just be like we are just playing around. That's the thing. What we need, really need knowledge. So to me, I must say that knowledge is the thing that we need. I think that's what I want to say. I really don't want to my own argument here is that knowledge is the only thing that we need. Knowledge is the thing that will save Africa. I will continue to repeat that. Knowledge is the only thing that will save Africa. I read a book about and the former president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, the Osage for Kwame Nkrumah. Now, in that this was somebody that he disturbed the then governor during this colonial period. He was in prison. People were seeing him as the Messiah. He was like he knew everything. He knew the British system, how they were doing it. He knew everything. So because of the level of knowledge he had, he was able to attack these people. He was able to make sure that he suppresses them in a way that they had no choice. They had no choice, but they left. So knowledge is the only thing. Knowledge is the only thing that will save Africa. All those people, Kwame Nkrumah, because of the level of knowledge they had, that was why he was able to succeed. Yes. So we need knowledge, love, and then we need to be good motivators. That's the thing that will save Africa. Please underline that word. We must be motivators. Our leaders must be motivators. They must. In fact, every leader now in Africa must be a motivational speaker. You must be a motivational speaker. That whatever you're doing it for the young people. Carry the young people along. I believe in the leadership that will carry people along. Just like what the president of Rwanda is doing. This is the only president in Africa who is carrying the young people along. That because whatever legacy he's making, he's leaving that legacy for them. But if these people don't have enough knowledge to handle that legacy, believe me, that legacy will not stand the test of time. So if you want to really, really succeed as a leader, even when you are in your grave, your spirit will still be alive and well. You must also carry the rising generation. You must carry them along by motivating them, by the examples you set. The reason why we have this nonsense corruption, sorry for the word, in Africa is because our leaders are not setting the example. Now you see a poor man who has nothing. The sooner he enter politics, before you know, he has houses all over the place. He has houses in abroad. He has fleet of cars. So we see that the only way now, the only way now we say, okay, I think if I go into politics is the easiest way. So that nobody cares. At the end of the day, even me, I will go there now. So, but people must go into politics that they want to make a mark. They want to serve their motherland. Because knowledge is itchy, but most of these people, they go there, they just go to enrich themselves. So knowledge is the thing that will save Africa. Knowledge is the thing that will save Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raymond. That is well put. That is well put. And as you spoke that, my mind came to one of the questions that trended yesterday during a special session of this conference. And that question was, and we would like to have your thought on it. The question was, the problem in Africa, we are now 65 years of independence. Most nations are 65 years or maybe a little more or less since we got independence from the white man. And the question was, should we still continue to blame the West for the issues we are having in leadership in Africa today? For example, you identified knowledge as the challenge. The lack of it is why we struggle. The presence of it is the only way we go away. So can we still continue to blame the West 65 years after independence?
No, we cannot. We really cannot. Now, Pastor Chris, I think that is the owner of Christ Embassy.
Yes.
Now, there's something he wrote which I love so much. He said that, which I will just quote in this instant before I make my point. Now, he said that it doesn't really matter how you are born, whether you are born poor or you are brought up poor. The thing is, you've arrived. What decision would you make? It doesn't really matter how you are born, whether you are born poor or you are born rich. The thing there is that you've arrived. What decision would you make? So now, I believe that you've arrived as a leader. You've arrived as a leader. What decision would you make? We see that the power of decisions to change things over. If you don't continue to keep casting blame. No, if you that blame things, no system was designed for anybody's personal failure. No system was designed for anybody's personal failure. You get? So the thing is, if you want to be a good leader, that thing of a blame game, that thing of blame game, what changes will you make? Mind you saw the problems, and that is why in the first place you pick interest that you can be able to solve that problem. Now that you've come to solve that problem, all you need to do, stop the blame game and fix the problem. But if you continue to, to cast blame on people, meaning you are finding a way to justify, meaning you are giving us the sign that at the end of the day you are going to fail, hopefully. Because if I can't see a problem and then I say, okay, now I have solutions to this problem, then I come in. When I was outside, no blame game. Okay, put me in because I have solutions to this problem. Then I'm in. Now that I'm in, all I need to do is to fix the problem. But because I know that I cannot be able to fix that problem, so the thing I do, I start casting blame, putting from this angle to this angle. Paul Kagame is a clear example. Paul Kagame is a clear example. The magic and the wonders that is going on right now in Rwanda was as a result of the decision he made. He forgot about, these people, they had genocide, they had this tribal war. When he came, one of the first things he did, that he was able to achieve national cohesion, that we fought, we've done, we've killed ourselves. Let's forget about that. The only language I want to hear now is to speak development. Let's forget about this blame game. So if Africa will continue to keep blaming the white people, keep blaming them, then we will go nowhere. Our leaders will use that against us. They will, it's kind of like we that are down here. That is why they have all these longer speeches they give to us. This, that, it was because of these people. Now you knew the problem, and you said, okay, now put me in. Just like in the case of Nigeria, Buhari said, okay, I want to bring change to Nigeria. He said, okay, he knew the problems of Nigeria, like he wants to solve your problems. Fine. People were like, okay, now, I think this man, since he has military background, let's give him a try. Now he came. Remember, the promise was he was to fix the problems. Now he was to bring the good change. But what happened at the end of the day? He brought the contrary change. So that's the same thing that he has to do. That's the same thing with we and the white people. There's nothing we can do about it. The deal has been done. It has been done. There's nothing we can do about it. The deal has been done. It has been done. So all we need to do now, let's forget about them and focus on ourselves. Let's begin to build. They said the best revenge you can give anybody is success. I think that's the revenge now Paul Kagame is giving the white people, because he's building his own economy without their help. That's the revenge he's giving them now. So I think this is the kind of revenge that we need to give the white people. It's not about casting blame on them. We need to give them revenge with success. We need to build our economy. The resources we have, we need to make use of them. That even without them, without their so-called international support, that we can still be able to do things on our own. That we can be able to work on our personal nation empowerment. That is what Paul Kagame is doing in Rwanda. He is getting back at the white people with success. He's showing them that me, I can, even without you people, I can do it. And we are all seeing the magic, the wonder that is happening in that country. So to me, I mean, that blame game of a thing, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really make sense. All I know is that you must make the decision. Now that you have arrived, forget about the blame game. You've arrived. Remember, you are outside. And okay, you made it for, okay, put me in. For example, Francis, okay, now, I have solutions to this problem. Put me here. I can still remember when I was on mission in Nigeria. We had issues like some areas that we are not getting better results. Some people say, "Oh, President, send me there." When I go there, I will make sure that I results will start coming. We had some lazy missionaries. When they go there, they will start giving excuses. "Oh, President, these other people that we are here, this is what they were doing. This is what they were doing. This is what they were doing. At the end of the day, they will leave there hopefully without getting any success. Because at the end of the day, when they go there, they one of the things that they will start casting blame on the priesthood leaders or whosoever they met there, instead of trying to make that decision that the way I met this place, I'm going to leave it better than the way I met it. So I think, to me, that's how I see it too.
Okay, that is very great response there to that really sticky question. And I want to bring this our previous speaker today. This was Oseaga Solomon from Nigeria. He was our first speaker in today's session. He said that the narrative put out for Africa is not our narrative. We must reject the narrative advanced for us by non-Africans. Now, how can we do this? How can we reject the narrative advanced for Africans by non-Africans? For example, we are a poor continent. We are a dark continent. There are a lot of people going on in Africa. And if someone had listened to your sister, Marlens Bat Williams, someone will learn how Africa became bad because it seems they need to paint us bad to be able to keep cheating us. But that needs to change. How can we change it?
Now, the number one thing, we need to control our news.
Okay.
The white people, they are controlling our news. You know, you see that even both in Europe and America, every day there are I mean, there are a lot of bad things that happens there, but not everything they will show on the news. Now, if you look at it in the whole, why is it that we don't have focus in Europe, but why they have focus in Africa? Why is it that we don't have focus in Europe, but they have focus in Africa? Or focus in America? Why is it that it's not like focus in America? That every day they give updates about why, but why is it that we have focus in Africa? Even our own news, we don't even have that. Africa is not. We don't even have that broadcasting station that will cover the rest of Africa. That where we can control our own news. Then we ourselves must make sure that we can be able to know what is happening there. Most of these things they are spy. Most of these things they are spy because they keep bringing out the nakedness of Africa. The only thing they talk about in Africa, they talk about when there is war, there is sickness, there is this, there is that, but they will never talk about good things in Africa. They always look at the bad side. So that what they are doing is that they are trying to make us, to make us become ashamed of our own culture. That's what they are doing. That's what they are doing so that they can control our mind. Just like what Dr. Henry Clark said, that if you want to control a man, if you want to put a man into a cell, you don't need physical cell to hold that man. All you need to do, control his mind, control the way he thinks. You can be able to keep that man in a fixed position than even putting him in a cell. So what these white people they have been doing all those while is to control our mind, to make us become ashamed. Now they will tell, for example, they tell about early marriage, all these things. Now, if you go to Europe and America, a friend was telling me who schools in BYU, he said in America they got married like 13 years, 13, 14 years. They are married, they start having children. But if you try that one in Africa, these are the same people that they will come, oh, early marriage, early this, early that. But in their country, they are doing it. Human rights violation, they are doing it. We look at the ICC. There are a lot of violations that are happening in Europe and America. But why is it that these people are not being indicted, but only Africa? So you see that they are doing all of this to make us ashamed of our own culture. So we must first of all control our own news. That's number one. We must control our own news. Make sure that our own news must be controlled by ourselves. Then the number two thing we can do to change that narrative, we must first of all pick interest. We must first of all pick interest in Africa. We must pick interest in Africa. We must begin to enjoy the things in Africa. We must begin to enjoy. Now, most of these things that is making us attractive to them, let's bring them. One of the things that is making us become attractive to them, like one is football. Africa, we must be able now to have a football, because football is one way that these people are making huge. They are making a lot of money. This football of a thing. In Africa, we must be able to have our own leagues in Africa, because we have most of our young brothers and sisters who are talented in football, but all these talents are being taken to Europe and America. So if the African leaders they have that sense enough that now let's pour money in football. Why is it that FIFA all the money they make is from this football? So let's pour money in football. Now, what will happen is that we ourselves, the young ones, because we are interested in football, we'll start paying attention to football. Then they look at the entertainment. We look at entertainment. Now, this entertainment, let's make sure that we have all these big shows they do. Let's have our own here in Africa. Let's encourage that. We'll bring the African flavor, the African flavor. Let's have it here. Let's have it here. If we have all of these things, trust me, I don't think I will want to go to America. I don't think I want to go there. People are going there for better life. People are going there. Oh, if I go there, there are better opportunities. But all these things that are dragging us to go there. So Africa must also be a place that talent must be realized. I'm so happy that Nigeria is giving us that example. That you see that because a lot of people, we have a lot of graduates in Nigeria today. They are not working in the office, but their talent is putting food on their table. But why you go to some other African countries, that thing is not applicable there. So the African leaders must be able to recognize that talent is one thing that will pay. So if we must begin to that if they want to catch us young now, so that we must speak interest in Africa, so we can change that narrative, it must begin there. It must begin there. So when these little things that makes us attractive to these people, these things must also be brought to us. And then that's the only way we can change that narrative. But if we still want to change the narrative, but we become still attractive to them, that narrative will not change. Because as soon as we go there, what they will do, you try to follow their way of thinking, you know, their way of behavior and everything. This interculture, all those things will now be able to dwindle your African background. So all these things that is making us attractive to them must be brought to Africa. Football, entertainment, all entertainment. Then you look at even the education. Like in America is one of the top, the number one destination for international students in the world. So if we have universities in Africa, that these universities, they are being run by the AU or whatever it is, they have all these, you know, we have a lot of Africans, we have a lot of black Africans in Europe and America. Let these people come home and have schools. There are a lot of lecturers like Harvard University. There is a Sierra Leone I know. He's the head of mathematics. That man is very, very crafty. The minister of education we have here, David Senge, he schooled in Harvard University. At the age of 25 years, he got his PhD. So there are millions of Africans who are doing very well, who are also helping to build the educational system in Europe and America. If the AU can be able to track these people down, they motivate these people, they give them the reason that they need to come and help Africa. Believe in me, all these things that is making us attractive to Europe and America, believe in me, we will start picking interest in our own things. But if that is not applicable, then we cannot never be able to change that narrative, because we still have things that are very tempting to them. If we don't have them here, me especially, I may want to go there. Okay, I want to go get better education. America is this, America is that, or Europe is that. So, but if we have all these things, trust me, why would I want to go to America? If I know that if I go to Nigeria, the life that I will live in Nigeria is the same life I will live in America. To cut down on expenses, I would rather go to Nigeria now. So to me, that's how I see it.
Okay, this is very great and straight to the point. Well, what is going on here is that we need to realize there's a war for control. The non-Africans want to control Africa because of the huge resources. So they give out this evil, negative narrative about Africa. I had an experience when I worked for an organization. One of the principal officers of the organization it was my role to advise as a security professional. I gave him advice about how he will run his operations in Nigeria so that he will be safe. He told me that I should get out of his way. Reason being that Nigeria has no security problems compared to where he lives in New York. He said where he lives in New York, he sees dead bodies every day, but you can't see any of those. But you know, any single thing, even when Nollywood makes a movie about a ritual murder, that story will go out as a real story, that there's a ritual murder, when that is not the case. The Africa does not contain all the evils in the world. That is not true, because some of those evils have English names. Those English names are not African names. So if those English names to those evil like corruption, banditry, and robbery, that means that those things are also in Europe and America and all the other places where they're speaking. So I think you made a great point here. And I like the idea of at least those who say they are our rulers, or maybe when young people will get power, they need to bring down those things that make us leave Africa to go to those places, like education especially. The educational system in Nigeria is so moribund and terrible that even minus COVID, nobody will be going to school in Nigeria right now. Minus Christmas, if there's no Christmas right now, Christmas holidays, and the New Year Day being expected, the schools in Nigeria won't be open. Reason, the lecturers are under industrial action. The government is not responding to all the things, and there's no development in education. So maybe young people, as we come up, let's also have in our mind the need to develop the educational sector in such a way that Africans would like to remain here and learn. so that we do not need to be attracted to leave. And of course, soccer. Most of the best players around the world are Africans. Most of them. Even most of the top international players worldwide are blacks. Maybe they came from Brazil or Argentina or somewhere else, but they are blacks. What that means is that all those things that they are using media to take us over to look at their own, we have them here and can do better if we have the right kind of leadership. Those are very powerful comments you have made there. Okay, so now I want to take you on some other comments that have been shared earlier in the conference today. The was this question came. Okay, this question came from Tulane, who spoke to us earlier. He asked that question from to our previous speaker today, and I'd like you to make a comment on it because it's so pivotal. He said, "How can young people in leadership distinguish themselves from poor leadership provided by their mentors?" In Africa, before you can become a leader, you have to carry back for the older ones. And these older people as their mentors, are poor leaders. They are the bad people leading Africa today, causing problems. So let's say, and there are a number of places like during this last election in Ghana, many young people won election to positions of power. Even in Nigeria, regardless of the nonsense, there's also a lot of young people who have won elections. And recently, there are municipal elections in Abia State in Nigeria. I know many young people that I know personally who have won council chairmanship and councillorship elections in those places. So the question now is, how can these kind of young people distinguish themselves from the poor leadership provided by those who mentored them into political offices? Do you have a thought? An African holding a leadership position who is young,
Yes,
how should
yes,
they
I do.
Okay.
Well, one of the things they should do is that now you first of all must be able to get a Pan-Africanist background. Now, if you look at the people who started this Pan-Africanist struggle in Africa, that all these people, when they are being remembered, nobody remembered them for wealth. Today, when we talk about Nelson Mandela, we don't talk about the wealthy. We talk about his ideas, the sacrifices he made. When we talk about Kwame Nkrumah, that all these people. So now, if you really want to make a better leadership, your spirit of Pan-Africanism must be in tune with those people who were before us. Knowledge again. You need to be familiarize yourself with them. In the area of yes, of course, you need somebody for you to stand there, because that's how they've made the system, that you must pass through them for you to get there. It's good. Just like what Machiavelli said. I don't know, this might really not fit in this position, but he said that you need to do evil in order for you to gain good. So if for you to follow them, yeah, you can follow them, but make sure that don't forget yourself. If you really want to be remembered like Kwame Nkrumah and the rest, you must have the level of your Pan-Africanism must be in tune with whatever they are doing. You must, in this case, you must decide to be Donald Trump. How do I mean? This is a man who's, even though with all his way of talking, because he's very arrogant, but this is a man who believes in himself. He believes in himself. Before this time, nobody knew about Donald Trump. He was very obedient, but no sooner he became president, he believed in his own principles. He believed in his own ideas. This is a man, the right speech for him. Whatever you will tell, he will not even consider one. He will just say the one that he believes is the right thing for him. So I think that's, to me, that's the only way we can flow if we really want to change that narrative. Yes, you can be with them because that's how they've made the system. They've made the system so tight in a way that the only way you can come in is for you to pass through them. So yes, you can still and pass through them, but make sure that the level of your Pan-Africanism must be in tune with whatever you are doing, because that's the only way you can be remembered as a great African leader who made sacrifices. That's the only way. But if you say you are going to toe line with their wealth, all these, their wealth gathering and everything, trust me, people, you will only be remembered, and your legacy. All those people who have stolen government, who never, their legacy, they will never be remembered. Trust me. Even though Obasanjo of Nigeria is still alive, nobody, all these people, nobody even cares about him. Nobody even look at the late J.J. Rollins. You know, when that man dies, people, you know, the whole of Africa, people, we are celebrating that man. You know, the man said, I listened to one of his interviews. He said that to me, he said to me, I don't want any monument, that any statue of myself. He said, I don't want. He said, the only thing I need is that whatever I did for my people, let it be inside their heart. That when they remember, they know that I made sacrifices for them. So you see that kind of man, his Pan-Africanism was in tune with whatever he was doing. He was doing it for his people. You know, he was doing it for his people. That even though he died, even though today he's late, his spirit in Ghana will still be alive and well in the heart of his people. For even down to generation to come, they will still remember him. So that's the only way, because the way they've made the system, you must pass through them. But if you want to become a better leader, the level of your Pan-Africanism must be in tune with whatever you're doing, just like what Paul Kagame is doing in Rwanda. To me, that's how I say it.
You know, that is very, very powerful, and it is so powerful that I had to show it on the case there as a statement that is made during your speech. That our level of Africanism needs to, you know, be high up there if we must be able to get these things in order. This is highly appreciated. Okay, so at this time, I would like you to share with us any final thoughts you have on this Africa Youth Conference 2020 on the theme, the African leadership question, problems and prospects. Any final thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on that is that first of all, I want to appreciate the organizers. I want to appreciate you for that. I just wish that we have like we have Francis Merivale in every part, in every country in Africa, who will start having this conversation with the young people. So I really want to say kudos to that. Well, I believe that this is a platform that is giving we Africans to speak, so that we can speak and die. Because if we don't speak, we will still die. So to me, I see that you people are really doing great. And you know, me personally, and whosoever that is listening to me, if today a lot of people, what I'm doing today, you know, as a upcoming motivational speaker, and also, you know, a life coach, trust me, I owe it to you know, the man behind the mic right now, Francis Meribe. You know, the mentorship he has given me, trust me, it is so great. It's as a result of, you know, his mentoring program. So I believe that wherever program that is being you know, is being tutored by him, trust me, this is a program that will not only touch you, but it will touch your soul in a way that magic will enter your life. That wherever you go, people, just like what Christ said, people might see your light and glorify that, yes, indeed, you are indeed an African who thinks Africa. You will be an African who thinks Africa, because there are a lot of Africans who don't think Africa. There are a lot of Africans who don't think Africa. So what this project is all about is giving us that Africanism, you know, mindset, that we will think like Africans wherever we find ourselves, even in our conversation. Just like you know, sorry if I might say this, but I'm a kind of like religious guy. So now in one of the books we read in our church, the Book of Mormon, Nephi said something to his children, that we talk of Christ, we preach of Christ, you know, we prophesy of Christ, that our children may know to what source they can look for their salvation. So to me, I see that this is about you giving us that platform for us to talk about Africa, you know, to preach about Africa. So at the end of the day, we might know to what source, we might be able to find solutions to our problem. We know that this is the source that we can be able to use to redeem Africa. So to me, I think that's my opinion about this project. I think you are giving us that salvation, that point, that level, that level, that this is the level we must flow with if we want to achieve the Africa that we want. I think that's the vision. That's the vision this you know, this conference is all about. And that's the vision the African Town Hall is all about. It's about town hall coming together and we cancel. Even God himself, I think that was what he did in order to motivate us. You know, there was a council. So I believe in the power of council. So bringing the rising generation for us to council in platforms like this, trust me, God is interested in this, because God is interested in Africa.
Thank you very much. And I was going to close at this point, but I remembered a critical thing. You formed the Sierra Leonean Youth Decide. Why? And what are you doing currently to advance the cause of Sierra Leonean Youth Decide?
Yes, well, that one, it's just like, the name talk about Sierra Leone Youth Decide. It's about young people making that decision that, we don't want to be, because there was a time in this country when you talk about violence, political violence, you talk about rape, talk about many crimes around. They always target to young people, even though politicians are the ones sponsoring the young people. So we've resolved to that level that we want to make decision on our own. Decision to say that, I mean, I don't need to go and kill my brother for a politician. So we want to make decision that if I'm going to school, I'm going there tomorrow, I will serve my country. So it's about making decision in every facet of our life, in our academic pursuit, in our family relationship, in our community, whatever we find ourselves, we must make positive decision. I think that's the vision. So currently the project that I am on right now, we want to make sure that we want to be having a sensitization video series. That's what we're working on. Very soon we'll get the camera. We are trying to set the team where we will start sensitizing people. Like every week we'll have an episode that will come out where maybe we'll give, because this time we want to capture every facet. We want to capture the parents, because the only way we can be able to help the vision of the Sierra Leone Youth Decide to come to light if when we have every facet of the society to be in tune with what we are doing, the home, the parents, the government, and even the corporate, the business people, all these people, we need everybody to come on board, because even you might have them. So it calls right. So I think that's really what we are doing now. So we are trying to get it like a series where we can feature parents and the young people themselves, the government. At least every week we'll have an episode that we will share and see. Let's say we'll get a parent that will get a set of parents that will like motivating their children to work hard in school. While we'll have other parents that will say that they will rather pay money for their children to cheat in exam, to spy, to pay for grades. So the kind of at the end of the day, to be like, parents, what kind of parents are you? What example are you a role model to your children? In your parent, I mean, so it's kind of like we are bringing the John Butcher, the life book. We are bringing the life book into Sierra Leone Youth Decide to make decision in every area of our life, where we will capture, the 12 categories. I think that's our project currently that is pending, and we are working towards that. And very soon, we will be ready to shoot.
Oh, wow. That is great. Um, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Now, I was able to get out the studio. Then this serious comment came, but the thing about the comment is that I think it just still the worries we have. He said the untold truth about Mother Africa. Area of Africa is 30.37 million kilometers squared. Area of China is 9.6. US is 9.8. Europe is 10.18. Um, Africa is bigger than all of Europe, China, and the United States of America combined. But on most of the world maps, Africa is represented in a reduced size. This is deliberately done to create the visual effect of a small Africa to manipulate, brainwash, and deceive Africans and deceive Africans wherever they are. Africa has 60% of the arable land in the world. So in the whole world, 60% of the arable land is in Africa. And I think these are still some of the complaints we are having. Maybe you can share a comment on that, but we already have identified some of the problems, and the problems is what allows this to happen.
Now, just like I believe you just made, I'm really happy that this person, but like we need the Arabs. They are also Africans, because we need the Arabs. They need to come. Like, the wonders they are performing in, and you see, these white people, they are very crafty. They are very, very crafty. Before this time, nobody had interest in Dubai. Nobody had interest in Dubai. So now Dubai has become the Dubai that everybody wants to go there. They want to go there. Everybody wants to go there. All these, their Gucci company, they went there. They had their shops. They want to go there. So they must begin, the Arab themselves, they must begin to see themselves that they are Africans. They must keep in tune with their brothers wherever they are, that they must begin to come back. I think if we have the Arabs, because these are also very powerful groups in Africa, they are very powerful. So we need them. We need like every facet, everybody from, we must come together as Africans. We must come together as Africans. That's the only way. We are seeing the division. The division is there. The Arab, they see themselves as special people, and we that are dark in color, they see us as different people. But the truth to be told that we are all Africans. So the Arab needs to join this wagon if we want to make African great.
Even without the Arab, the African space alone is larger than Europe, America, and China put together. Our landmass is bigger than all of their own. But yet, when they draw the map of Africa, it looks so small in the world map space. And he said it's part of the control measures they are using to keep Africa down.
Yeah, why they will do that? Why they will do that? Because we are too lazy. We are too lazy, just like what I said. We are too lazy to pick interest in the things of Africa. There are people who have talent in drawing all these maps. Why, if now we've seen there are people who have sat down, they've seen that error. Now they should make sure that no, this is not the Africa you are putting on that world map. This is our Africa. They project it to them. There are people who are there that they have their voices are more loud compared to us. So why can't they just tell these people that no, you correct them that no, this is not the Africa you put there. No, this is not the Africa. I beg. Remove that thing. This is our own Africa. We have our own map. We show them. But we are so comfortable in a way that we don't care. We just don't care. Anyhow they do it is okay. So we must begin to identify. So we need to get that enough knowledge. Create that knowledge will allow us to pick up those things. So that's what this rising generation we must do. We must correct that one. Yes, I listened to one interview by one celebrity, William Uchemba. He said something that now that when that NSAS process was going on, that he said our parents, they couldn't really speak up. They couldn't really speak up. They allow you guys to go on, to do a lot of things, and they didn't say anything about them. But this generation, we've realized that we want to speak up. No matter we want to speak up, there are certain things that we want to change. So if we, this rising generation, we want to change Africa, then these are some of the things that must be changed. These little things must be changed. That's to give them sign. Like for example, our country, Sierra Leone, the coat of arms we are using was designed by the white people. Come on. It was designed by the white people. Just when they came in, everything they designed, they left. We didn't change anything. We just follow. You can imagine that we are having a football league here in Sierra Leone. They call Sierra Leone Premier League. Why Sierra Leone Premier? Why must it be Sierra Leone Premier League? There are other names. Why can't we give it other names? Why must we give it Premier? And we know that Premier is being played in UK, in London. So why must it be Sierra Leone Premier League? And people are comfortable with that. So these little things must be changed. It must be changed. I think that's the only thing. It must be changed. If they see that they've reduced on the map, no, I beg, or God, not to say a B. This one I say a B. Let them pick it up with them. I think that will be something that this rising generation must do. We must do.
Yes, I think what you are saying is akin to this comment here we received earlier during the conference where somebody said we need to decolonize our mind. The mind of young Africans need to be decolonized through education, and especially education on how to think. I think we will begin on this from here. If we begin the journey here, we'll have a chance of getting to a destination that will help us. Okay. Thank you very much for being here today, Raymond. And it is always a pleasure to have you on our podiums because you have got the word. You are an endowed man. So we are grateful to have you at the African Youth Conference 2020 on the team, the African Leadership Question, Problems and Prospects. We have enjoyed what you have shared. We have taken note of the strategies. We would like you to stay nearby, but on the 9th of January 2021, we'll hold a special conference of all the people who spoke at this conference. And the intention of that objective is to marshal out a communique and way forward for the rising generations of Africa. A lot of things have happened and come up in this conference that I think we should not leave lying low. So that conference is so pivotal in helping us to begin to move forward. If that day is a Saturday, and we're expecting that that conference can take place at night from beginning from 10 a.m. in the morning Nigerian time. That will be about 9 a.m. on Saturday for your time. So we'll be glad if you make time to be there. Thank you very much for being with us today, Raymond.
All right. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Okay, and you have a great
All
week.
right.
Thank you.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
You too. Bye.
Well, viewers, this is our Wednesday morning session of the conference. We expect that there will be a session at night today at 8 p.m. Nigerian time. If we still want many people to speak at this conference and to make comments and share their thoughts, we invite you to connect with us if you are available to speak in the evening today. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate every bit of it and the sacrifice it took you to be here. This has been the African Youth Conference 2020 on the theme, the African Leadership Question, Problems and Prospects. Have a great time.